Lately, I've been really feeling that like most of my work is in meetings and like setting the direction, making sure people are on their projects and stuff like that. And yeah, I like that. That's fun and high leverage.
That clip you just heard, that's from a client who went from stuck at 2 million a year, working 7 days a week, fixing zaps, building funnels, sending emails, putting out fires constantly, to 3.6 million in 12 months. That's an 80% revenue increase, almost double. But here's what really matters. His business went from being completely dependent on him, unsellable, trapped, to something he could actually step away from as an owner or sell while working 10 hours less per week. And to be fair, he could work even less than that, but he likes working. Now, before you think this is some kind of work smarter, not harder cliche, I'm gonna break down the exact 5 lessons that made this transformation happen so that you can learn and make more while working less. Now, lesson 5, that's the one where everything clicks because it's the piece that 90% of business coaches completely ignore. And it's why most 7-figure entrepreneurs stay stuck even when they have the right strategy. So if you're doing 1 million to 5 million a year in revenue and you feel like you are the business, you can't step away without everything fall apart, this case study is going to show you exactly what needs to change for you. Hi, my name is Mark Dharma. I'm the founder of Mill a Month. I help 7-figure entrepreneurs stuck between 2 to 5 million scale toward $1 million a month while turning their business into a sellable asset. So when you're ready to exit, you get the biggest payout possible without working more hours. Now, I've spent 18 years coaching high-performing entrepreneurs, including Sam Evans, CEO of School.com. I have a master's degree in positive organizational psychology. I studied under the famous Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who pioneered the concept of flow. And I've been lucky enough to study at the Peter Drucker School of Management. But I'm not just a coach. I've been building businesses too. I made my first dollar online in 2006. I've lost money, I've scaled, I've failed, and I've learned what actually works. I've been in the trenches. So what you're about to see is a real case study from our client files. This was a 2025 result, and the name, voice, and image of this client has been changed for privacy, but the numbers and lessons are 100% real. So let's get into it. So here's where the client started. He runs an education business. Think courses, coaching, community, that kind of model. The revenue stuck at 2 million per year, and not because of effort, definitely working harder, grinding, pushing, but he was just stuck. He was working 7 days a week, no days off. But here's the real problem. He wasn't running the business. He was the business. He was the tech guy fixing zaps when they broke, building funnels himself, writing and sending emails, creating and managing ads, managing the team, handling customer issues. Every single day he woke up and put out fires. That's what his job had become. Now I call this archetype of entrepreneur the visionary firefighter. You see, you started with a vision, you built something incredible, but somewhere along the way, you became the chief firefighter, the person who runs from crisis to crisis, keeping everything from burning down. And here's what happens. You get really good at firefighting. So good that you think you're the only one who can do it. But that skill that got you to 2 million is the exact thing keeping you stuck there because you can't scale firefighting. You can only burn out doing it. And here's the other thing no one tells you. A business that depends on you firefighting is worth nothing. You can't sell it. You can't step away. You've built a high-paying job, not an asset. Now, who would want to buy your job, right? Nobody. If a buyer looked at your business today and saw that you are the entire operation, they'd run. Or they'd lowball you so hard it wouldn't be worth selling. So how do we turn this around? Here's 5 lessons. Lesson 1. Before we touch the business, we got to transform the founder. You see, most people start with tactics, funnels, ads, offers, systems. We don't. Because here's what I've learned after 18 years. Your business is a perfect reflection of your own internal operating system. Call it your self-image. If you see yourself as the tech guy, guess what? You'll keep doing all the tech work. If you see yourself as the only one who can fix things, guess what? You'll keep fixing things. So this is the first D in our 3D scaling system, and we call it decide. We must decide on your business goal, and then we decide on who you need to become to achieve that goal, not just what you need to do. So with this client, we started with 3 things in the decide phase. First, we upgraded his identity. He needed to stop seeing himself as an operator and start seeing himself as $1 million a month CEO, not someday, now. You see, CEO doesn't stand for Chief Firefighter. It's Chief Executive Officer. A CEO sets the vision and leads. A CEO makes decisions for the present and the future. A CEO builds a team that can make that vision a reality. Now, if you're watching this thinking, Mark, this sounds absolutely wonderful, but I couldn't even imagine setting the vision and leading with all the crap I've got to deal with, you must take on board all of these lessons that are coming. So the second thing we did is we got crystal clear on the company mission. Why does this business exist? What transformation does it create for its clients, its customers? What would get you and the team fired up to get to work and make it happen each day? When you're stuck at a couple of million, you've often forgotten why you're doing this. You're just surviving. We had to reconnect him and his team with the purpose of the business. Third, we aligned his core values. Now listen, core values aren't just nice words that you put on your website. They actually serve a huge function in the business. These are the non-negotiables that drive every hiring decision, every firing decision, every strategic choice. In fact, they're critical to have so that your team members make decisions you would make. You see, here's what you do with your core values. You train your employees to stop asking you what they should do and instead tell them to refer to the core values to figure out what they should do themselves. Core values are like outsourcing your values to the team so they know what to do when a situation arises. Core values are a key factor of you removing yourself from the business. Because here's the thing, if you don't know your core values, your team certainly doesn't. You'll hire the wrong people, you'll create the wrong culture, and both of those things create a lot more fires for you to fight. Now here's what most entrepreneurs get wrong. They think they can just skip the decide step and say, Mark, just give me the tactics. But tactics without deciding on the business goal, for example, you might choose that your business goal is growing toward $1 million a month, 40% profit margin, working less, so you can sell at 6 or 10 times EBITDA. Once you've got the goal down, then you need to decide who you need to be to achieve the goal. Then decide on the mission and the core values. And if you don't do any of those things, it's like giving a learner driver a Ferrari and just, let them go. They're going to crash. So lesson 1 is the transformation first starts with the first decide phase. Okay, lesson number 2, you need a business operating system and someone needs to actually make you use it. Now you might have heard of these business operating system things. EOS is the most famous one, stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. There's also Scaling Up, Scalable, and others. If you don't know what I'm talking about I'm going to explain what these mean in just a minute. But here's the problem. Most business owners buy these systems or read the book and then nothing happens. Or at best, they'll actually install the system into their company, use it for a month or two, and then just lose complete operational discipline and stop. In fact, when I asked one founder last week if they're using a business operating system, he told me they were doing EOS Lite. Basically, we're pretending that we are a little bit, but no, we're not. All right. So there's a massive gap between just installing the system and actually running it in your business day in, day out. This is what I call the implementation gap. You know what to do, you just think you don't have the time, the team, or the support to actually do it. That's why at Mill a Month, we don't just teach the systems. We install them and hold you and your team accountable to following through with it because that's what gets results. All right, so what is a business operating system? Think of it like the iOS or Android on your phone. It's the foundational layer that everything else runs on. A good operating system includes a meeting rhythm for you and your team to follow, so daily, weekly, quarterly meetings, a scorecard with the numbers that actually matter so you can make data-driven decisions, clear accountability on who owns what, like who's in charge of which piece in your business, a quarterly planning process, a way to track execution on your biggest priorities. Now, without these, you're running your business on chaos. With this, you're running your business on systems and your business is worth more. We built our own system called MAMOS. It stands for the Mill a Month Operating System. We use it to help our clients grow to $1 million a month using data-driven decision making while systemizing your business and reducing your involvement so we can build your business to sell at the highest price possible when you're ready to exit. It includes a CEO dashboard so you see exactly what matters in one view, a weekly company scorecard, tracking and evergreen metrics, and your quarterly priorities. Also includes daily huddle protocols, quarterly sprint planning, and team performance management, and much more. But here's the key difference. We don't just hand you a framework and say good luck. We implement Mamos in your business and work as part of your team to achieve your business goals. Because advice without implementation is just expensive noise. Let me ask you something. Do you have an operating system in your business right now? Not a system you bought and never use, an actual running operating system that your team uses every single week. If not, that's a massive gap because you can't scale chaos. You can only systemize your way to freedom. And let's say you do manage to scale without this system, who would buy the company? Only someone like me who would lowball you because you don't have any systems, so you're not attractive to investors. Then they would implement Mamos in your business to instantly raise the value of your company and sell at a nice profit. Does that make sense? Remember this, the more valuable you are in your company, the less valuable your company is. You need an operating system. Comment and let me know if you're using an operating system or not. If so, which one are you using? And what percentage are you using it? 100%, 10%, 50%? Let me know. All right, lesson 3. You need real business intelligence before you make strategic moves. This is the second D in our 3D scaling system, define. Most entrepreneurs make decisions based on gut feel. And look, your gut got you this far. I'm not dismissing it. But to scale from 2 million to 3.6 million in 12 months and eventually build something you can sell for real money, you need data. Real data analyzed properly. So step 1, we did a comprehensive business audit. We looked at everything: marketing, sales, leadership, operation, team performance, customer journey, financial structure. Nowadays, to do this, I use a proprietary AI analysis tool we call Cerebro Plus. It helps us identify patterns that humans miss. Step 2, 80-20 leverage identification. So now you got the data, ask what's 20% of the activities driving 8% of the results? And also, just as important, what are the 80% of activities that you're working on, the CEO, the founder, that is only getting 20% of the results, okay? Well, you're wasting your time on those things. What we found is that they had an upsell program, a premium tier for his existing customers, but it was underpriced, and there was a huge list of past prospects who almost bought but didn't pull the trigger. So we designed what I call a reverse launch. Here's how it works. Instead of launching something new to cold audiences, you take an existing product, raise the price, and create a time-limited campaign to past prospects before the price increase. Okay, so for example, this program is going from X dollars to Y dollars on this date. If you've been thinking about it, this is your last chance at the current price. It's not hype, it's reality, and it converts like crazy because these people already know you, already trust you, and already wanted it. They might just been delaying a little bit. The result, we did 1 million in Q1 with a big chunk of profit because these weren't new leads. They were existing customers and past leads who we've already paid to acquire. Does that make sense? So that was half of his entire 2024 revenue made in the first quarter of 2025. Now here's what you need to understand. We couldn't have designed this strategy without looking at the data first. If we just said run more ads or hire more salespeople, the typical advice, we would have missed the gold mine sitting in his existing assets. This is why we start every partnership with a deep dive audit. Before we touch anything, we need to see your real numbers. So my advice to you is look at the data in your business. You'll see the 80-20 opportunities. Lesson 4, audit where you're spending time and ruthlessly remove low value work. Remember, I said this client was a tech guy before? Here's what we found when we audited his calendar. He was spending hours every week, hours fixing broken zaps, all right? Not building strategy, not leading his team, not creating content, not selling, fixing zaps and just pages, just fixing little things in the business. Now, I did a video recently on how to calculate your true hourly rate as a CEO. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it after this. But here's a quick math. If you're running a 2 million business and you want to build something sellable, your time is worth somewhere between $500 and $1,000 per hour. Fixing zaps? That's a $15 hour task, maybe $25 if you're being really generous. Every hour he was spent on tech work was an hour he wasn't spending on strategic planning, leadership development, building relationships, creating valuable internal assets and IP, and making decisions only a CEO can make. So what did we do? First, we brought in an email marketing company and know and trust because he was doing email marketing himself, but not getting the results you'd expect from a business of his size. His ROI was probably negative when you factored in his time. So we didn't just tell him to outsource it. We made the introduction, we helped manage the transition, and we made sure it actually happened. He also managed to find someone else within his team who could do the fixing of zaps, etc. And this is what most coaches miss. They'll tell you just to delegate. They may even give you a framework, but then you have to go find the people, vet them, manage them, hope they work out. Most of the time, we like to bring the people in, make the introductions, the connections to help you build the team that frees you up fast. Because advice without execution, again, it's just expensive noise. Second, we started building processes to delegate the tech work. Not just overnight, but gradually with a clear timeline. By end of Q2, you touched 0 apps. And third, and this is crucial, we redefined his job description. Your job as a CEO is not to do the work. Your job as a CEO is to set the vision and the strategy, build and lead the team, make decisions only you can make, remove obstacles blocking your team, and raise the value of your company. That's it. Everything else, delegate, automate, or eliminate. Here's a mindset shift that made this work. He had to stop seeing delegation as losing control, because delegation isn't losing control, it's gaining leverage. When you delegate properly, you're not giving up power, you're multiplying yourself. You go from one person doing 100 things poorly to 10 people doing 10 things excellently. That's how you scale. That's how you get your time back. That's how you stop being a firefighter and start being a CEO. And that's how you build something someone would actually want to buy. Lesson 5, execution with accountability. This is the third D in the 3D scaling system, do. And this is a lesson that separates entrepreneurs who transform from ones who stay stuck forever. So here's what I've seen after 18 years in this industry. Most business owners know what to do. They've read the books, they've bought the courses, they've attended the mastermind. Information isn't the problem, implementation is. And why does implementation fail? 3 reasons. Number 1, no accountability. Number 2, no support when you hit obstacles. And number 3, no one actually doing the work alongside you. Let me break down what we did with this client. First, we had weekly executive partnership sessions. Every single week, we met not for motivation, for tactical problem solving. We reviewed his numbers, we identified the one bottleneck for the week, and we made decisions together. This is not cheerleading, it's board level strategic partnership. Second, we reviewed his dashboard every week. Are the metrics moving? Is a team executing? What's blocking progress? No hiding, no excuses, just data and action. Third, quarterly planning intensive with his leadership team. Every 90 days, we do a half-day session, set the priorities, align everyone, create absolute clarity on who owns what, and this eliminated the number 1 killer of execution, confusion about priorities. Fourth, we developed his leadership capacity. We used Navy SEAL leadership principles, 360-degree assessments, and research-backed methods to rapidly develop CEO-level leadership, because you can't run a 10 million business with 2 million leadership skills. And here's something I've never talked publicly about before. We're so confident in our approach that our compensation is tied to results. A portion of what we earn comes from the profit growth we help you create. And if a client eventually wants to sell the business, we participate in the outcome too. Our incentives are completely aligned. It's just win-win. We only win when you win. And that's not how most coaches operate. Most coaches get paid whether you succeed or not. We structured it differently because we believe in what we do. The result is team started executing, not because he was doing the work for them, but because he was leading them to do the work themselves. He went from working in the business 7 days a week to working on the business 5 days a week. And revenue, 8% increase, 2 million to 3.6. But here's a real win. His business is now sellable. If he wanted to step away tomorrow, take a month off, take a year off, sell the whole thing, he could. That wasn't true 12 months ago. And that's what we mean by being exitable. Building a business you could actually exit. Whether that means stepping back, selling, or just having the freedom to choose. Let me be direct with you for a second. If you're watching this and you're stuck, the question isn't what tactic am I missing? The question is who's actually helping me implement? Who has skin in the game with me? Most coaches give you a strategy and then good luck. We built our entire model around eliminating that gap, because the right partnership, the right support, and the right execution, building a business without you becomes inevitable. Drop a comment with the do if execution and accountability is your missing piece. Let's recap the 5 lessons. Lesson 1, decide. Decide on your goals. Decide who you need to become. Decide on the company mission and values so that your team is aligned and fired up. Stop being the firefighter, start being the CEO. Lesson 2, install a business operating system. You can't scale chaos and you can't do it yourself. Get a system installed and get accountability so you actually run it. Lesson 3, define data-driven strategy. Audit your business, find the 80/20s. Lesson 4, remove low-value work. Audit your time, eliminate, automate, remove anything that is not up to your hourly rate. And then lesson 5, do. Execute with partnership. Implement on the data, get your team to align on the goals for the quarter, the numbers, and execute daily. This is a 3D scaling system in action. Decide, define, do. Miss one piece or try and do it alone, nothing works. But when you combine all three together, you get what this client got. 8% growth, working 10 hours less per week in a business he can actually sell. Now here's the thing, if you're stuck at 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, you're working 60, 70 hours, 80 hours a week, how much longer are you going to do this? Because I'll tell you what happens if nothing changes. You burn out, your relationship suffers, your health declines, and eventually your business does too. Or you try to sell it and realize no one wants to buy a business that they can't run without the founder. That's not why you started this. You started this for freedom, for impact, for building something meaningful. It's time to get back to that vision. If you're a 7-figure entrepreneur doing 10 million a year, but you're ready to build a business that could actually run without you or sell for what it's worth, here's what I want you to do. Click the link in the description and book a call with my team. On this call, we'll figure out if you're a good fit for our business audit. Our audit is a 2-week deep dive into your operations, your finances, your team, and your growth potential. You'll get a full report showing exactly what's working, what's broken, and what needs to change to make your business sellable. Part of that report is also an AI audit showing you what areas of your business could benefit from AI and the cost savings we estimate you'll get from it. It's $3,500 and it comes with a full money back guarantee. If you don't think it was worth it at the end, we'll give you all of your money back. And if we end up working together long term, that fee gets credited towards your first month. Now you might be wondering why we charge for this. 2 reasons. 1, it filters for serious people. If you're not willing to invest $3.5K to get clarity on your business, you're probably not ready for the level of partnership we provide. And 2, you get real value whether we work together or not. The audit report alone is worth more than most 10K masterminds. You know exactly what to fix. We only take on a handful of audit clients per month because of how intensive the process is. So the call is about figuring out if you're a fit and if we can actually help you or not. Link is in the description. Book now while this is fresh. And if you got value from this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'm breaking down real case studies like this every week. I'll see you on the next one.